Hello, I'm back. Okay, so regarding question 31, I would think cosine x minus. Let me say this is cosine squared x times cosine x. Any problem? No problem, because these are cosine cubed x. Why am I doing this? Because I want you to see the cotan that's hidden over here, because cosine over sine is cotan. So there is a hidden cotan. If I change the question to cotan x minus cosine squared x times cotan x, I can take a cotan x like a previous question, which is question 30, as a common factor. And this might be an easier way of solving. As I said, there's no one way of solving 1 minus cosine squared, but there are easy ways and there are hard ways. Times sine squared x. Okay. What can I do about cotan over here? I think I can go on cosine over sine times sine squared x. This cancels one of those, so your answer is cosine x sine x or sine x cosine x. No problem. Okay, these are a little bit longer, and somehow it's the same like adding any fractions with different denominators. What should I do? This I want it to be sec x minus 1 times sec x plus 1, and this I want it to be sec x plus 1 times sec x minus 1. So I'm gonna multiply here sec x plus 1. Looks like a lot of steps, but it will end up peaceful inshallah. And this one I should multiply by sec x minus 1 over sec x minus 1. Okay, what will I get over here? Cosine x times sec x minus 1 plus cosine x times sec x plus 1, and in one step the denominator became sec x plus 1 times sec x minus 1, which is difference of squares, right? Okay, if I distribute the numerator, I'll get cosec x sec x minus cosine x minus cosine x plus cosine x sec x plus cosine x. I will see that a plus cosine x will cancel the plus cosine x over here, first with first, last with last, because it's difference of squares. And here's also a Pythagorean identity. See, it's always ending up in the same way. Two of those, cosine x sec x and cosine sec x xx, will be 2 cosine x sec x. صح? All over. What is sec x squared x minus 1 tan squared x? Okay, I can change it to tan squared x. Can't you see that these are reciprocals and you cancel each other? Whenever reciprocals are multiplied by each other, they would definitely cancel each other, because this is 1 over cosine x. You should have seen that. طيب, all over. Sorry, I cannot write anymore. Okay, this will cancel this. And if I take the tan up, I will end up in 2. I cannot write anymore. I will just zoom like this. Okay, I will end up in 2 cotan, inshallah I will write, squared x. Why? Because the cosine x cancel the cosine x. I have 2 over tan squared x, and the tan squared x, I prefer putting it up because we don't want trigonometric functions in the denominator. And so the answer is 2 cotan squared x. Here, okay, question 33, if you try to use the same method as the previous question, I don't think you will reach an answer here. See, I suffered trying and I suffered trying, just to let you know that you're not suffering at all alone. Even your teacher sometimes is suffering to find the right way. Anyways, how did I solve that? I tried many methods because I know the answer is sine x, but you don't know the answer is sine x. Anyways, there's a way where I can multiply by conjugates sometimes. Okay, I can multiply by conjugates. I think this is how I started. Yeah, I started by multiplying this by its conjugate. Okay, conjugate يعني بدل ده 1 plus ده 1 minus. Sometimes I will do this coming soon to simplify or to rewrite without fractions. Okay, so what did I get? I got okay, and over this I changed it to sine x over cosine x. صح? So I can take the cosine x in the numerator. Now this will become cosine x time. You can try another method, and if you reach the answer, tell me. The answer is sine x plus, okay, this is over sine x plus, here it became sine x times 1 minus cosine x all over, multiplying these difference of squares, I'm gonna get 1 minus cosine squared x. And what is 1 minus cosine squared x? It's sine squared x. I'll distribute here. I'll get cosine x minus cosine squared x all over sine x. Plus, I'll distribute these. I'm gonna get sine x minus sine x cosine x all over 1 minus cosine squared x is sine squared x. Sine squared x. And from this step I started, see, if you know the answer it will be easier. The coming lesson will be like proof that the answer is this, but simplify is a little bit harder because the answer you don't know, and you don't know where to stop, and you don't know if you're right or wrong. But anyways, as I said, you can substitute numbers here and substitute a number in the last answer and see if they are equal, because this plus this should equal to sine x. So if you use like 90, 90, 90, 90, and this is all cosine and sine, you have them on the calculator, substitute them in the answer, you will know you're right or wrong to check. Okay, so here I'm gonna get sine x cosine x minus sine x cosine squared x, okay, plus sine x minus sine x cosine x, and I made the denominator, sorry, sine squared x. What can I cancel? I can see I can cancel this with this, right? And from the numerator I can take sine x as a common factor to decrease the steps. So sine x as a common factor, I am left with negative cosine squared x plus 1 all over sine squared x. I can cancel this sine x with one of those. And what is 1 minus cosine squared x? It's sine squared x. So I have sine squared x over sine x now. Cancel this with this, and your answer is sine x. I would love if anybody solved this question in another way and got sine x. I would really, really appreciate that, because I couldn't find another way. But I think there are other ways, because I myself could not find another way to solve this question. Okay, regarding this one, you can go simply with multiplying by sec x plus 1 over sec x plus 1, and here sec x minus 1 over sec x minus 1, trying to make the denominators equal. Okay, so here will be sec x minus 1 plus sec x plus 1, and the denominator, to cut it short, will be difference of squares, which is sec squared x minus 1. This cancels this, and I know sec squared x minus 1. Remember, when you see any squares, to think of these three. Sec squared x minus 1 is tan squared x. So now I have 2 sec x over tan squared x. From where are the two? This plus this. It's not sec squared, it's plus. So orange plus orange is 2 orange. Sec plus x is 2 sec x over tan squared x. I can change it to 2 sec x times cotan squared x. I can change it to 2 over 2. Just check if I can simplify more. 2 over cosine x, because I know cotan is cosine over sine. I know I can cancel this cosine with this cosine. So a simpler answer would be definitely, oh wait, I made a mistake. Here is squared and squared. So I'm gonna cancel only this, one of those with this. So I'm left with 2 cosine x اللي فوق واحدة فضلت صح over sine squared x. So I'm left with 2 cosine x times, what is a cosine over sine? Wait, just a second. This is sine squared x, صح? Ah, okay, wait. So 2 cosine x over cosec squared x, صح? Cosec squared x. If I take this up, it will end up in cosec squared x, and this is the answer for this question. Okay, I know sometimes you will suffer to know when did I finish. This is very normal, and you're not a professional in that, and this is new for you, and it's a new chapter. So أكيد sometimes you are going to suffer. There's no problem to suffer as long as you will get used to that, inshallah, one day maybe. Okay, regarding this question again, denominators are not the same. So I will need to fix it by sec x plus tan x over sec x. Sometimes it's long. This one, it's easy. Times sec x. What? This one. Sec x minus tan x. This is supposedly sec x. All over sec x minus tan x. So I'm gonna get a very long something like this. Sec x tan x. Sec x minus tan x times cosine x cotan x plus sine x times sec x plus tan x. And what is the denominator in one step? The denominator is this by this minus this by that. Sec squared x, because this is difference of squares. And what is sec squared x minus tan squared x? It is 1. So this is 1. Forget about it. Okay, distribute the numerator and simplify if you can, because I can see reciprocal functions and quotient functions in the numerator. So I will multiply, distribute here and here. I'm gonna get sec x cosine x cotan x minus tan x. If you find an easier way than this, please show me. Cosine x cotan x plus sine x sec x plus sine x tan x, and my denominator is 1, so خلاص. Okay, so now sec x would definitely cancel cosine x. Why? Because sec x is 1 over cosine. If you think of it as 1 over cosine x times cosine x times cotan x, I would really know, because reciprocal functions multiplied by each other will cancel each other. And here also I have a tan and cotan. They will cancel each other because this is 1 over cotan x. صح? Cosine x, cotan x. So this will cancel this. Plus, what else do I have? Sine x sec x will not cancel each other because this is 1 over cosine. And here tan is also sine over cosine. So nothing will happen, no need to rewrite it or find the quotient identity over here. What am I left with? This cotan x, this cosine x, plus what else? I'm gonna copy this and this, right? Sine x, so I'm left with sine x sec x صح? Plus sine x tan x. I think this one I can change it. I can change it into tan x. صح? Because here I have sine x times cosec is sec is 1 over cosine. That's why the answer here is tan, because sine over cosine is tan, and this is the final answer. Question number 36. Sine x over cosine x. Okay, also I can do the same method. This is cosec x. Sometimes I forgot the c. Over 1 plus cosec x plus 1 times cosec x minus 1 over cosec x minus 1. Okay, so here I have sine x times cosec x minus 1 plus sine x. Just copy them at the beginning, not to lose any point. All over, first with first, last with last. That's a cosec squared x minus 1. And what's a cosec squared x minus 1? It's cotan squared x. مظبوط, cotan squared x. So in the numerator, I have sine x times cosec x, which would eventually end in 1 minus sine x. What am I doing? I'm distributing the sine x. And here I'm distributing this sine x cosec x plus sine x all over this, I would change it to cotan squared x. Why is this canceling this? This will cancel this and it will end up in 1, because sine x times 1 over sine x is 1, and this will cancel this. It will not end up in 0, it will end up in 1, like 5 over 5 sine over sine x over x. The answer is 1. And what will happen else? This will cancel this. مظبوط مظبوط. So 1 plus 1 over cotan squared x, and this is 2 over cotan squared x, and this is 2 tan squared x, and this is the answer. Okay, regarding question number, okay, these questions are something else. I'll do another video for them. Rewrite as expression, rewrite as an expression that does not include a fraction. Okay, I'll do another video for that.